really knew me at all.
G'day Tiger fans and welcome to Richmond's live weekly podcast Talking Tigers. Now not much has gone right in 2016, but the TT team will continue to push ahead and remain positive, Tone. Things will turn. On today's show we chat about Mark Robinson, Leicester City, what a story that has been, and all the usual frivolity will return. JB and Tone, great to be here in the studio with you guys. How are we?
Good to be with you, Richo.
Thank you,
JB.
Matthew.
Yes. Now, against all odds, Phil Collins, why
Well, it's probably got a couple of meanings today because overnight, JB, you're all over this.
Yeah, this morning a new EPL champion has been crowned.
This is the biggest story in the history of sport.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
This time last year, they were actually making a run just to make it into the Premier League this year.
And I know there's been some huge upsets in world sport over the years, you know. So Ali beating Foreman and Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson.
Red Sox Yankees.
You know, and Eddie the Eagle, you know, and...
he didn't really upset anyone, Eddie the Eagle.
Or whatever, yeah. But for a sustained period of time, we're talking about how long does the EPL season go for?
38 games.
That's a hell of a lot. That is astonishing that for 38 games you can be 5,000 to 1 at the start of the season and maintain your form and win the title is unbelievable.
I heard a great story on the weekend about a mad Leicester fan at the start of the year. He liked the look of those 5,000 to 1. And after 3 or 4 games, he actually thought, oh, this isn't going to continue. He said, I've had a good month here. I've had a good little month. I'm going to cash out. So he cashed out, and I think he put his 40.
I think it was 45
quid on.
Yeah.
He won. He got his money back and a little bit more. And
so he's happy with that.
He was happy. He's as flat as a tack now.
So how much would he have won?
Well, 5,000 to 1, and he put 20 quid on it. You do the sums
you
there.
mentioned. Yeah, April 2015, they were 7 points in the relegation zone.
Yeah,
and then won 7 out of their last 9 just to survive, and then carried that form into this year. But going back to 2013, they were in the first division.
Yeah. So the first division.
Yeah, and they had a playoff game against Watford. They won a late penalty.
Yeah.
And, you usually score from a penalty to get back up into the Premier League. It was saved, went down the other end, and a goal was conceded. So
this is
so they had another year.
Story.
So that's against all odds, Phil Collins, and it just says, don't give up. You never know. You just never know.
And it shows you that it can turn even, in the space of an off or whatever during this. Well, the other one was Adelaide
United.
Adelaide United.
Yep.
I mean, where were they?
Well, no wins from their first 8 games.
And won the title.
There you go.
And won the title. So there you go. That's
so let's
amazing.
not. It's all doom and gloom. And if you believed what you read in the newspaper and listened to on the radio and watched on TV at the moment, we might as well shut the doors here at Punt Road. But it's never as bad as it seems, and it's never as good as it seems.
100%, and it can turn really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Well, what Dimmer said post game is getting the first win is the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Let's get one.
That's true.
I want to bring up Trent Cotchin because that's a courageous performance by him on the weekend. For anyone who's had a face injury,
and you copped a fair few,
and being serious, it's not nice, know. And for a player in his position, it's a little bit easier as a key forward because you're not really putting your head in packs all of the time. Yeah, you're taking marks, but you'd be pretty unlucky as a key forward to get hit in the same spot again. But when you're doing what Trent does, burrowing in around stoppages all day, with a busted cheekbone, what a courageous effort, and that just shows you how much he wants to lead this footy club.
Absolutely.
And I've noticed a few people have dropped off bagging him in the last few weeks, and so they should. So I just wanted to mention his courage on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And people watching the game wouldn't have known at the time that he was putting his head over the ball and
did in the first 2 minutes, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to miss him over the next 2 weeks, but give someone else a chance.
Well, we need to follow his lead with that. The courage that he showed should be used as inspiration for the rest of the group.
Some real leadership there from Trent.
Exactly right. Richo, mate. Yep.
Yeah.
Get in touch with it.
What do you had a sudden episode there, JP?
A little bit off. Anyway,
that's all right.
Now, what do we want our fans to do? We want our fans to get in touch.
We do. I didn't mention that off the top.
Off the top, using hashtag Talking Tigers on Twitter.
Well, I'm working with amateurs. What are we doing?
Well, we wanted to talk about the song, and Josh has just had an episode here. I'm not sure what he's having. No, hashtag Talking Tigers.
That's right.
9426 4423 for the quiz. 9426 4423, and we'll have the quiz in just a moment.
Yes.
But Tone?
Yes, Matty.
Can you read that rundown I put
What
there
am I
for
doing?
you?
About your Well, now, listen. Listen.
Jeez.
What are you doing?
I'm working with monkeys here.
You
I can't bring up what you've
You're
got to bring
talking
up.
about the episode, right?
Yeah.
Well, you had an episode of your own.
Oh, no, I
right?
did.
With the now, is it? And I'm not sure if this is the delayed concussion that you've spoken
I
about
think it
before
might
that
be.
you've suffered from, right?
I think it is.
But you sent out you received a lovely letter during the week from a fan. Is that correct?
I did. I walked in here this morning and there was an
Yeah.
express post package here for me.
Right.
And I thought, this is great.
Okay. So what was in the package?
What was in the package when I opened it was something that I meant to send out to someone else in Tasmania, but I actually sent it to myself.
So you've sent. This is how conceited you are, right? You have sent yourself a letter.
Yes. No, I rocked up. I thought, this looks familiar, this express post, and so I thought I'd open it anyway just to make sure.
With a nice message in it.
There was a message in there, a letter that I was sending back to someone in Tasmania.
And you've sent it to yourself.
But I sent it to myself. I wrote my own address on there and
You
sent
are
it to myself.
seriously disturbed.
So I just want to apologise to the young lady.
I'm not sure, Joe. Is this just stupidity or is it just narcissism? Is it the
It might be a
epitome
bit of
of narcissism, I reckon? Sending something to yourself.
Yeah.
So I just want to apologise to the young lady from
goodness
Parklands
me.
High School in Burnie,
Yep.
who I think listens to Talking Tigers. I have now resent it, and I've sent it to you, not to myself this time. All right? So I think I've got delayed concussion, Tone.
I think you have. There's no question of that at all. No doubt.
Speaking of postage and apologies,
Yes.
Nicholas, Peter, Ben, Jeff, our winners of the quiz so far this year,
TT T-shirt winners
they will be sent
this week.
This week,
You promise?
You haven't sent them yet?
promise.
He's got a bit of AC's problem.
Yeah, there's a
He
little bit
can't
of that.
even bother sending them out. Hey, I know you'd be interested in
Yes.
Robbo's article today, Tony.
I read
in
it.
the Herald
I
Sun.
read it. Yeah. Look, look, Robbo. Obviously, it's an opinion-based industry, and at least I suppose now after criticising. Journalists have been criticising us and what's wrong and everything. So Robbo decided to offer a solution this morning, and his solution was that we should trade Brett Delidio
Now,
at the end of the season.
I don't agree with it at
No,
all, but
no, you've got a right to.
I know where he was coming from.
Yeah.
St Kilda have done this a few years ago with Nick Del Santo and Brendan Goddard. They released those players who were
Yep.
both high draft picks.
Yep.
But I think their situation was different. They were acknowledging that they were completely
Yep.
bottoming out and they wanted high draft picks.
Correct.
That is not the situation here.
Well, I wouldn't think that you get rid of a player that, was arguably your best player. Arguably your best player.
Well, I think
Certainly
the most important
player because because of what he offers in terms of his run.
And his run and
his
carry
skills.
and ability to break open games is something that we actually don't have at the moment.
Yeah.
That's why we got Chris Sharon. That hasn't
Spot on.
worked yet, but it will. I'm positive that it will. But I don't think we can give up Brett because he's an 80-metre player, and we don't have a lot of those in the team at the moment.
So the other thing about this is that I think if the one thing the competition has shown this year is that players are playing well into their 30s, not just playing the best footy of their careers into their 30s. Obviously, Jared Wade
Wow.
and players like that.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely no reason why Brett Delidio couldn't be playing good football for another 5-6 years.
And we know his best mate at the club is Sean Grigg, and he actually had something to say this morning on this very issue.
I hope not. He's one of my best mates, but obviously 6 months away is the end of the year. That's got nothing to do with me, list management and external comments. It's 4 walls.
Is there a chance though this group has reached its limit? I mean, the last couple of years making first week of finals, that's about as far as this group can go.
I don't think so. I think we've got some good young talent coming through. It's just embracing them and hoping they can come through and push us up. We've seen the likes of Corey Ellis come into the team, Connor Menadue, Camden McIntosh, those sorts of guys. So hopefully the boys can keep pushing through and keep developing.
And I would have thought that what you're trying to do is add to your A graders. And if people, the media thinks we've probably got maybe 5 or 6 A graders, I would have thought that you add to them, And as we've discussed before, it can turn very, very quickly, right? So you just keep your A grade talent and you add to that and obviously develop your young talent through. And then you go, obviously, and, pick out players that you need, quality players from other
like
clubs.
Yaron, who they identified we needed.
And we haven't seen yet, obviously.
Yeah, and people cricriticise that, but it will turn in the end.
No, that's right.
We'd better have the quiz.
Oh,
Tony.
yes. Good question tonight.
Yeah, it's a good one. Actually thought about it, didn't you?
Well, it's unlike when you do it. All right. Now, what I want to know the Richmond Ruckman, right? Richmond Ruckman of the late 70s and early 80s, who subsequently went to Hawthorn, had a brief stint at Hawthorn, right? And whose daughter is a supermodel.
And can I add one more?
And
an actress. And was in a big Australian movie recently.
Yeah, okay, so supermodel and actress.
Who's her father? Who's
Yeah,
played
her
for
father
Richmond
played
and
for
Hawthorn.
Richmond and then Hawthorn.
94264423.
It's a tough one,
Mm.
but that's how we like it.
Well, we don't just give these teas away.
no.
That's exactly right.
No, we don't get them out anyway.
No, Josh has got to
Yeah, no.
do that.
Got a lift, yep. The tweets coming in thick and fast.
Yes.
Good.
First one in is from Redhead, at Redhead27. My grandfather, Jimmy Shand,
Jimmy Shand, yeah.
played his first game for the Tigers on the 6th of the 5th, 1916. So it will be 100 years to the day this
Jimmy
Friday.
Shand. Yeah,
There you go.
that's
That's a nice
very
little
good.
tidbit for you,
I
Greens.
might just do a little bit more research on Jimmy Shand
Yeah.
and see what we can come up with too.
Well, apparently,
Next week, bring him up.
Yeah, all right.
Charlie Callender carried Jimmy's bags into the ground.
Charlie Calendar.
There you go.
There you
Great
go.
Charlie Calendar.
That's a good tweet. That
Yeah, I
one.
like that.
One in from our man the tail. Call
Yes.
to arms for this Friday night.
Good.
27,000 last week was a bit crazy, so we
Yeah.
need all 71k members to make the trek this Friday night.
Now, I need to make the point about that crowd, and it was obviously a very disappointing crowd and the lowest for night game for Richmond for a long time. But also, it was Greek Easter last weekend, and we do have a lot of
We
Greek
do.
supporters,
Yeah.
so that would have impacted the crowd. No doubt
Okay.
that would have impacted the crowd a little bit too.
Thank you.
That's all right.
And Stu Valenti also follows that up with last week's crowd was disappointing. We need everybody there this weekend, so
Good.
we agree with that. Now to the emails.
Got a few.
got
didn't you?
mail.
Ooh, bang.
Bang. First one from our mate Ben from Brisbane.
Yeah.
That's titled The Barry Rawlings Cup. Dear TT team, I'm begging the boys
Barry
to...
Rollings Cup, yeah.
Yes.
This week, this
Yeah.
Friday.
So you'll like this one. I'm begging the boys to pull off an upset this week as both my brothers are passionate Hawthorn supporters. He's been suffering their mockery and arrogance for many decades, including at endless family grand final barbecues stretching back into his childhood, which he's attended resentfully. Anyway, he has a trophy called the Barry Rawlings Cup, which he currently owns due to Richmond's win last year.
Right.
And they're flying down this weekend from Brisbane for the match. So he doesn't want his brothers taking that cup and
Okay.
drinking beer out of it and celebrating at
Okay.
his expense. Anyway, he's got one for you here, Greeners, which
Yeah.
is a tough one. He'll be interested to know every year they award the Charles Whitley Medal to a player who commits an act that most influences the result. Such winners has been Greg Stafford for taking out Spider Everett in our 51-point turnaround, for
yes.
example.
Yeah.
He wants to know why it could be called the Charles Whitley Cup. Off the top of your head, very tough one.
I've got no idea. There's a little quiz for you, Tony.
Yeah, no, I'll get back
Anyway.
to him on that, all right?
Oh, I can answer now if you
Oh,
want.
right.
no,
well,
get the
good.
answer.
Yeah, okay.
Whitley had a 2-game career
Charles Whitley.
over 1925, 1926. 1 game for Richmond, 1 game for Hawthorn.
Oh, there you go.
Ah, I like it.
There you go.
Very good.
Hey,
Very
before
good.
you get into
Yes.
that next email, I know you've got another one there. JB, we do have a caller on the line for the quiz. Sean from Wattle Glen. What's the answer, mate? Which ruckman for Richmond in the late 70s and then Hawthorn has a daughter that's a supermodel and a movie star?
I don't know about the daughter, Richard, but I think it was Kim Kershaw.
Yes, yeah. Well, his daughter, Abby Lee, is a supermodel.
Is a world famous
Supermodel.
She was in the latest Mad Max movie.
There you go.
And Kim Kershaw was definitely the father.
Yes,
Kim
that's
Kershaw
right.
is the well.
Well, we can't.
I'm not going to ask for a blood test or anything,
Well,
but yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah. I think the DNA is okay.
Well,
yeah,
she's
yeah.
tall, and he was a ruckman, Sean.
Yeah. She's a little bit better looking than he was. Let's be fair. Yeah.
Kim had red hair, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. You're not a fan of red hair, Sean?
No, don't get me wrong. I just the next question is, she got red hair.
Not sure.
Yeah.
She had blonde hair in Mad Max, but
Right,
the girls like to tip and dye it up these days, don't they?
Yeah. But the Kim Kershaw is the answer, though. So well done.
Hey, so email
Yeah,
us in. Email us in, Sean.
Yeah, and sometime in the next millennium, you'll get that T-shirt sent out to you.
Hopefully
Yeah.
before our next win.
No, we'll get it out, mate. Talking Tigers at
on you.
richmondfc.com.au. Thanks, Sean, and thanks for listening,
Good on you,
mate.
boys. Love it. Great
Thanks,
on you,
brother.
mate.
So,
Cheers, mate.
We should try and get Abby Lee when she's next in Melbourne in the studio. Yeah.
Won't be high on her priorities.
You know, Can't put us down like that. It's very ordinary.
Anyway, a big thanks to everyone who sent in emails this week. There were a lot of them. We'll get to one more before we go. It's Nathan Jones, who would be a handy inclusion to our team.
Yeah.
He's got a theory that maybe Choco should imply onto the boys. He reckons that we're aiming too high when we're going down into the forward 50 and lobbing the balls on Jack's head, so to speak. Okay. So he reckons the next time, to help with people lowering their eyes...
Just grub it.
No, the next time that a truck crashes into the Montague Street, into the Montague Street Bridge, rather. He wants Choco to bring all the boys down and practice kicking low drillers under the bridge.
And you know what? I don't mind that because he's thinking laterally.
Exactly. And he reckons Richo would agree because you love the silver service.
Well, yeah, and also I reckon it's got something to do with the height of the goalpost. It's I think that's involved.
Don't discount.
No, I think the height of the goalpost is throwing everyone.
It is.
Definitely.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You haven't been mad for a while.
No, I've had enough though.
What of?
I'm sick of Mike Sheen.
Oh, come on. Mike's doing a great job.
No,
Mike's top 50 is brilliant. He was in the studio last week. He's coming in again next week.
He was doing a good job until yesterday.
What happened?
Well, I had a look at our app on my phone. I thought I'll check out how it's going. Mike's top 50.
Yeah.
Very well.
And we're down into the top 10 now.
We're into the top 10 now.
Yeah.
I was at number 9 yesterday.
You were that high.
Gee, there must be some good players in the top 8, I tell you.
Well, I can't believe you got that high.
He is kidding himself, Shane.
I'm not sure you should have got in the top 10, to be honest.
You know what? During my career, I had a gut full of his top 50s. And you know what he can do with this one? Throw it out with the rest of his top 50s.
Well, listen, he's coming in next week. Take it up with him next Tuesday.
I will. I've had enough of him.
Who should you have been ahead of?
Hey?
Hey? Hay's not in there.
No, hang on.
You're not in there either.
I didn't know we had 8 Royce Harts at the club in the top 8.
Come on. This is sour grapes.
Nah.
Mike's done a brilliant job with it, Joe, hasn't he?
Got it wrong.
Well, you bring it up with him next week.
I'm with Benny Gale.
This can't be serious.
He's got it wrong. I'm deadly serious. I'll bring it up with him next week.
Oh. Geez, you're a narcissist. Absolute narcissist.
I'm sort of half tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, really?
We'll find out next week.
No, we will. We'll go through the fine-tooth comb.
I just thought maybe 7 or 8.
We will forensically examine it with Mike next week.
All right.
Well, number 8's been announced this morning.
Oh, who's number 8?
Billy Barrett.
Now, don't tell me you reckon you're a better player than Billy Barrett. Come on. Billy Barrett played in the centre, was a dynamo, went to full forward one day and kicked 8 in
Anyone
half
can
a game.
play in the centre.
Oh, Bugsy, he was brilliant. Outstanding.
Anyone can play in the guts, fair to
you bring it up with him next week.
Try playing inside forward 50. I'll bring it up with him.
Mike's top 50 does make up the club news this week. We'll be announcing number 1 on Friday.
So I don't care.
He's given up now. He's given up.
Seven more very fine players to come.
Superstars.
Absolutely.
Superstars of the Richmond Football Club.
Top resumes.
Unlike the bloke at number 9 who was probably lucky to get in the top 10, to be honest.
Ahead of Sheeds and Morris.
So what was it? This Friday?
This Friday.
Oh, good.
Yep, so 2 a day. Yeah. 7 more to come.
And Mike will be at the game on Friday night.
He's going
to the winner of the
I won't be talking.
The person who's picked Mike's top 5 correctly, will get to dine with Mike.
Oh,
so
tremendous!
I'll go and get a hamburger downstairs somewhere.
Other club news for this
you're
week.
A nasty bit of work, you really are.
Get to the game early because you can win the chance to kick in the bin for $15,000.
Kick in the bin?
Yeah.
You know who would be good at that? Joel Bowden.
He would be.
Yes.
They
had one of those comps on Channel 7 once.
That's right.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before.
Live and kicking?
Yeah, and it was going to jackpot every week, and Joel put it in from 50 metres on the first night and ruined the whole competition.
That's right.
Well, this has been jackpotting since the start of last year now at 15 grand, so get there early and could win the chance. And our homecoming hero. Last week was Matty Rogers.
That was
very
fantastic.
good. He was very good. Mini hands.
Mini hands.
Yeah.
This week, another man of a famous nickname.
Yeah.
The Push-Up King.
Oh, good.
Push-up.
So Jakey King.
Good.
So get there and see Jake. I got a photo. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
Just while I remember, I saw a photo on Twitter a few days ago. It was sent to me by the one and only Mike Minihan.
Yeah, Mike Minihan.
Who in the dinner after the homecoming hero, him and Roger had another handoff.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did. They had a handoff.
Did they do it in private or?
No, they did it in front of everyone. Mike Minihan and Matt Minihands Rogers.
Who won?
I think Minihan had bigger hands than Mini Hands.
Did he?
So do you win with bigger hands?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah. Injury list this week.
All important.
All important. Two players.
Tone, you're grunting.
Oh dear, oh dear. I don't know why I'm
You are a
just
goose.
up and about. I don't know why.
Two players who could be very handy inclusions for Friday night's game.
Yes.
Dylan Grimes and Nick Floston.
Grimesy's crucial this week with Bruce and
As is
Rioli and
Nick
Piopolo.
as well,
Yeah.
who can play that role. And if Georgie stays in the side, Nick can even push up forward. I mean, up towards the midfield.
You know what? It all of a sudden starts looking a fair bit better, doesn't it, with Grimes and Floston?
So they're both
It's just no Cochin and
Rancy.
That's right.
and Rance. Yeah.
Sorry.
But in news that
Don't flatten me.
Sorry.
Luke Hodge is out.
Is he?
Yep,
Yeah,
he's
Hodge
going to
is
miss a
out.
few weeks. So
There you go.
anyway, so they got to get
They're
through.
the important ones. Anyone else getting closer?
Well, Nathan Drummond is
Yeah.
down for 1 week,
Great.
as is Reece Conker with his hamstring
Yeah,
injury.
he's coming along all right, Reece.
Yes.
Apparently, yeah.
So round 8, both will look to push for selection. Those two probably in the VFL, but
AC may even come back when Reece makes his comeback, I reckon.
will.
He might.
He'll come and watch.
He'll come and watch,
we've
yeah.
been dealing with a Conker in the Champions League from Shanghai. The superstar nearly knocked him out last week. But Trent Cotchin, Kane Lambert, the two out of last week. So Cotchin will miss at this stage estimated 2 weeks with the cheekbone. He had surgery yesterday, which went well, and Kane Lambert with the rib and punctured lung
That's a shocker, isn't it?
early in the first quarter.
And he tried, and he's so gutsy. I think he was down at the club yesterday.
You know
wasn't
what?
he?
Well, yeah, he's back out on the track at the
You know
moment.
what?
So.
And they're the type of players you want. He is a fantastic person and a gutsy
He
warrior,
is.
Kane
Yep,
Lambert.
he is.
So he's out for
Couldn't
3 to
agree
4
more.
weeks.
Yep.
That is the injury list.
Thanks, JB. So the Chief was on Talking Footy last
Oh,
night.
he did the rounds because he
did.
was on AW first,
Yeah.
and then went over to Talking Footy.
And as always, Brendan did a great job explaining things and just doing it without getting carried away and saying anything too emotional. Very level and always consistent in his message, Brendan.
Measured, very measured.
So I thought he did a great job last night. It's not easy
No.
being a spokesperson when you're under the pump. So
No,
well
not
done,
at all.
Benny. Absolutely magnificent. But there was one sour thing that came out of the whole episode.
No.
Now, obviously, I know the people at Channel 7, having worked there for a while now. I got a text this morning from Sarah, the makeup girl who looks after us on Friday Night Footy. And Sarah was a little bit taken aback by the Chief last night.
Oh, no.
She said for the first time in history of making up footballers...
Yeah, he
and-
wanted some lippy? or-
no.
Oh, yeah.
And personalities. So she's dealt with a few egos over the years,
Yes,
you know,
yeah,
in
yeah,
TV.
for sure.
Yours
Some
being
Yes.
a burgeoning one.
The Saturday night team.
Yes, yeah, BT.
Looking after the bristler, trying to get that head
And
looking
Lingy.
all right is a tough job.
You need a mortician for that.
So Sarah gets BT looking all right, and BT doesn't complain.
Yeah.
The Chief didn't like the shade of makeup she put on.
Oh, no.
Thought it was a bit pale. He wanted to look a little bit browner, a little bit darker. The Chief.
Right.
Yeah. So there you go.
no.
Just
Well,
the
come
shade of
Did
the.
she get out the lingy box?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
So Brendan actually questioned his
The makeup
last night.
The makeup artist. He's questioned that.
He questioned her.
Goodness.
She's been making up Peter Mitchell and these boys and Watto, Wispy Watto for
Yeah,
years.
yeah. Jennifer Kite.
Yeah, and Jane Bunn now. They don't complain.
And
All right.
and the chief not happy
Not
with
happy with it.
Oh, no.
Oh, fair dinkum. Oh, here he is. Manfred's walked in. Well, it's that time again. It's time for the VFL update with Brenton Mann, who just changes his sting by the
Why do
week,
you
boys.
keep changing that sting?
This is a stitch up.
This is
This
not,
is a stitch
this
up.
is not Manfred, man.
You've discussed this after last week's show, surely, and just
chocolate.
stitched me up
It was a
again.
request.
I'm not sure. What is the connection?
Oh, it's just the way Manfred's been operating lately.
What, I've been a few hot chocolates.
Rich vein of form.
I've had a few hot chocolates at
How
night.
was the VFL, mate?
The VFL was, despite the scoreline, a 57-point loss. It was a very improved performance from the week prior. Sandy is a very good side. They were prelim finalists in 2015, and their St Kilda AFL-listed players played extremely well, which hurt us, but our effort and intensity was there. We matched them in the contested ball clearances and tackles, but it was our skill execution on the outside that let us down, and a few turnovers in transition that got Sandy got out the back, and a few red time goals didn't help in the last quarter.
Sounds similar to the Port Adelaide game. Like
It was.
Yeah.
It's similar. Yeah, AFL and VFL level, very, very similar.
First time under lights, how did the crowd adapt to it, and were they up and about leading into
really
the...
good.
It was actually, it looked really good actually. Just on that dusk evening, was it looked really good. The Jack Dyer stand was looking a picture under the lights, and the crowd, it was a good crowd in, very boisterous crowd, and they got a good showing for probably 3.5 quarters. And as I said, red time goals in the last quarter probably blew the margin out and didn't reflect the game.
Okay. Now, there's going to be a couple of changes at least in the senior side. There may be a couple of players coming back, but who in the VFL team would be pressing for senior selection this week?
I'd say Ben Griffiths up forward, and also he played a little bit down back as well. He took 5 contested marks, 2 goals from outside 50, and was the dominant big man on the ground. And it was probably the best game I've seen him play in probably 6 months of footy from last year and this year. So it was a really pleasing performance from him. And also Jaden Short, with Castagna going up to AFL level, he was pushed off half-back from the coaching, from directive from the coaching department, and he had 26 disposals, and he was best on ground.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
Yeah, that's really promising.
And it was his decision-making and disposal off half-back that was really... It shone through.
He was probably a bit unlucky in the first place to get dropped. And when he kicked 3 on debut, and he was a bit ordinary the next week and got dropped. So, it would be good to see him get another chance.
It's another step in his development. He's just not going to be pigeonholed as a small forward. If he can play off half-back...
And get a fair bit of ball.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, with Kane Lambert going out as well, potentially comes back to play his natural position.
That's right.
What I'm interested in is Sandringham, very strong in the ruck department. How did Ivan Soldo go? Pretty much playing a lone hand at times.
Soldo battled really manfully, actually. He had 20 hit-outs and kicked a goal. Check side, right foot goal from 50, Greeners.
Really?
From 50. It got the crowd up and about.
Oh,
and actually, Soldo was really good around the contest, but as you said, Sandy's ruck department it's quite dominant, and he didn't fight exactly a lone hand. It was he had a backup from Anthony Ferrata, the ex-De La Salle from the VAFA.
Very tall man.
He's a very tall man, Anthony, a very big man too. Yes. He's a massive unit.
Right,
those two teamed well in the ruck, but the Sandy's dominance in the ruck really shone through probably in the second half.
Adam Marcon, how did he go?
Probably down a little bit on his recent performances, but still had 19 disposal, kicked a nice goal.
Yep.
He was good early, but then he kind of drifted out of the game a little bit and wasn't as strong around the clearances.
And what was Fly's response after the game? Craig McRae, where was the coach at?
Fly was reasonably happy. I mean, at three-quarter time, we were 21 points down and coming, and he just urged us to be bold between the arcs. He really wanted us to take the game on between the arcs and trust our forwards, but unfortunately, ill discipline at the start of the third pushed that margin out to 21 points. We could have been down by a goal at three-quarter time and really in it, but 2 goals at the start of the third from 50-metre penalties really hurt us, and he was quite damning in that, and he's going to let the boys know about it this week.
Fair enough. So another exciting prospect who was terrific the week before was Marby Chol. Was he a bit down as well?
Similar. He was a little bit down. He kicked a nice goal, but like McBean, just really struggled to get near it up forward.
Yeah, get into it. Yeah.
I thought that we needed to probably a bit more mobility up forward, not that in changing personnel, but our forwards probably didn't lead to the right spots.
And Marbio, as an 18-year-old key position player, it's not going to be consistent week to week. It's actually never happened in the history of the game. Maybe a Jeremy Cameron, but these are one-off guys. So you just need to be patient with Marbio.
Exactly right, Richo. And Flyer did point out that when you have a good performance at any level, the opposition is going to put more time into you. And Sandy put a lot of time into Marbio. And his probably performance reflected that, but that's a learning curve for him.
All right.
Absolutely.
This week, where are we off to?
We're off to North Port Oval, Tone, Port Melbourne.
Oh, tremendous.
A couple of nice cafes on Saturday morning, and then head down to North Port Oval.
Yeah, what time's the game?
2 p.m.
2 p.m.
And Port will be happy to get back to Port Melbourne up in Williamstown.
Oh, did you see that on? Jesus.
Oh, the ball was one of those days at Willie.
It was going backwards, the ball.
It was. So they'll be ready to get back home as well.
Conditions for Saturday, windy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we know.
Well, Breton, thanks for popping in again.
Yeah. And you enjoy your Kung Fu movies too throughout the week.
And your hot chocolate.
We'll do, boys. We'll do. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Now, Tone, if you're still living at home where Mum barracks for Carlton and Dad thinks you're born to mow the lawn...
She wouldn't be my mum if she barracked for Carlton.
I think it's time you found your own place. In fact, you should move out on your own.
It's not a bad idea.
You don't like human beings.
It's not a bad idea at all.
Save $27 a day and you can do it. Our valued sponsor, Caden, can kickstart you into your new apartment with $15,000 towards your deposit.
15,000?
15 large, Tone.
Wow.
This is all up front. They don't load the money into the price and there are terms and conditions, but no catches or hitches. Caden.com.au/kickstart will give you all the ins and outs, Tony.
I need a good kickstart.
Yes, give Caden a call. Just up the road, a magnificent new development. Now, boys, I haven't seen the game, to be completely honest with you yet. I was down in Geelong
watching
Cats
another
and the Gold
riveting
Coast.
game.
That wasn't a good game either. So I'm going to leave it up to you two. I know you want to cover a few points off, Tone.
Oh, well, I just think, it was a late call-up with Camden McIntosh going out at the last minute, but, Jason Georgie Castagna coming in and making his debut, and I reckon it was a pretty decent debut, really. I only had 11 touches, but he just tried all the qualities that he possesses, which is his attack on the footy, his run and carry, and his strong work ethic. They were all clearly evident there.
Yeah, I think you're right, Grant. Is that move that he put on where he did the spin and then the sidestep and delivered it. Yeah, I think it might have been a mark to Milesy, but it was called play on. Yeah, that sort of turned things around. But I mean, a kid off the rookie list who's developed in the VFL over the last couple of years. He showed a bit last week, and I think he's well worth persisting.
Yeah, no, he's earned his chance, I reckon.
And I know, I was talking to you before, so I know that you want to talk about this, but Corey Ellis, starting to get more of the ball now. I think that's 2 weeks in a row with 20 touches, or two of his last three?
2 of his last three. He was probably down a little bit the week before, but he really bounced back. He had 23. I think it was probably a career high for him, 23. But took a couple of really, really gutsy marks too. Yep. And he just uses it so well. He's got great vision and good decision making. Uses it well. So I just think he's certainly going to be a good player. I don't think there's any
needs to play the rest of the year, and he'll be. He'll probably have a game by the end of the year where he gets 30 and kicks a goal.
Yeah, I think so.
A couple of goals. Yep. So what were your votes, Tone?
I go through to Sean Grigg. I thought Grigg was terrific. Right through the 4 quarters. He just, racked up, good numbers, disposal wise, hit the scoreboard, kicked a couple of goals. I think was number 1 for score assists as well. Quite a few clearances. I just thought he never stopped trying to really give us, provide a spark and generate some drive. I gave 2 to Dusty Martin. I thought Dusty's best game of the season. He was really, really good. Got a lot of the ball and just, again, tried to generate a lot of drive with, some good kicks inside 50.
And probably was important with Trent, obviously, having the issues that he had.
But he really stepped up. And I gave 1 to Shane Edwards. I thought Shane Edwards, with his clearance work, was exceptional. I think he's getting back to his best form,
And people got to remember the 2 injuries he had, which caused him to lose that continuity. Correct. And I think now, in the next few weeks, we'll see the best of him.
He's a very clever player, Shane Edwards. Very clever player.
Good votes, Greeners. I went very similar. Went 3 votes for Sean Grigg. I thought he was really good. Hit the scoreboard. Unlucky to hit the posts another couple of times. Kept presenting, and his best game of the season is really putting a good patch together. 2 I gave to Edwards. I thought he bounced back to. Continued his form actually, and contested possessions, clearances. He was at the contest. It was great, and 1 vote to Dustin Martin as well. Good to see him back in the form, and hitting the scoreboard as well will be a key. So might mention that a bit later.
So I just replicated your votes, Tone, because I didn't want to make out that I'd seen all of the game because I haven't, and the fact that we lost, I just haven't been able to bring myself to watch the replay as yet. So I went Grigg. Martin, Edwards as well. So the leaderboard, that leaves Koch out in front still on 21. Jack and Dusty are tied for second with 16 apiece. Rancy 14. And then you got 3 guys on 9. Lambert, Grigg and Hooley. So there we go with the leaderboard for the TT Player of the Year.
Probably worth me.
I think Scones is trying to push us through a bit today. Bring up your point.
Go on. What were you going to say?
Well, I just wanted to mention Jack's game with the 3 goals at a very limited supply. So I think he's making the most of what's coming forward, Richo.
Oh, good segue. Good segue, JB, because my yellow and black book special this week is Jack.
Yeah.
I think he is ready.
Now you're mozzing Jack.
No, I'm not.
Well, you went with Dusty for 3 or 4 weeks in a row, right, as your yellow and black book special to kick 3 goals plus. Right, last week you dropped off because he didn't, and he had his best game of the season.
I understand that. So hopefully I don't put the moz on Jack.
I think you have.
But I just think his form is that solid at the moment that he's ready to bust out. And if Frawley doesn't play, there's a slight doubt on Frawley with a concussion. I think Jack could have a 5-goal game. Even if it's not 5, I'm saying that Jack's going to have an extremely good game against Hawthorn.
All right.
Now, last week I went with Ivan and obviously didn't have his best game.
No.
I didn't see it, but I had a look at the stats, so it clearly wasn't his greatest game, so I probably put Moz on Big Ivan.
Yeah,
too.
you did. You know, you're really struggling in this area.
Stand clear.
Yeah, yeah.
Stand clear. Well, last week I went for Brett Delidio in his first game back. I thought he was
all right.
He was all right. He showed a bit as the game
At
went
22,
on.
kicked a nice goal.
Yeah, bit of run and carry as well towards the latter stages of the game too, which is good to see. And I'd expect him to go even further this week. But
I agree with you. Who have you gone for this week then?
well, this week I've jumped
I
on,
hope I'm not seeing.
jumped on your bandwagon,
What are
Richard.
you
here.
saying?
Seeing if I can have some more luck.
What are you doing?
Dustin Martin.
Yeah, what?
He's going to kick 3 goals at least.
This will show if you really are a Moz.
Well, I hope I am.
If this will really show that if you are a Moz, because if he does, yep, that's it.
Well, if he does, I'm jumping completely out of the yellow and blacks from now
that's
on.
a great idea. And
we
Sconnors
might even
can.
No,
We get
Matt.
Manfred.
No, Matt.
Oh, Matty.
Matty over the back here.
Yeah, the last video guy who did it.
Yeah, out. Is it just incidentally?
Yes.
Is it any coincidence that since Pyklitz has left, we haven't won a game? Could the Chief just chew on some humble pie,
I think
right,
Pyklitz
and get him
is-
back? Could he get him back?
No, I think Pyklitz is working
Kicked
with
on.
some soapy stars now.
Off in his private jet.
He's loving life, yeah.
Not with
But yeah, Dustin. I know it was a preseason
not
game,
with
but
Abby
against
Lee Kershaw, is he? Sorry, yeah, go on.
But against Hawthorn in the preseason, Dustin dominated. And
Okay.
he's yet to kick multiple goals this year, but
He will this week.
this week is the time.
Beautiful.
Greeners, how about you?
Well, I had Sammy Lloyd last week, and he was probably down a bit last week.
Who are you
but-
going for this
Well,
week?
I'm actually going for Nick Floston. Now, in your injury report before, you said that he was very strong chance to come in. I think he'll come in. There's been criticism of our young players, obviously, that we've copped throughout the week from the media and everything. I think he's a young player with immense talent, and I think he'll start showing that. I think the spell has probably done him good. Freshened him up. And I'd love to see him in the midfield. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but I'd love to see him go in there at some stage. But I reckon he'll have a big game. And I think this will be the start of him finishing, right through the rest of the season. I think he'll be a very impressive performer.
Okay.
I like it.
Make it quick today. Don't waffle on. Get to the point and get to it
Well, I
quickly.
can't get to the point because it's quite lengthy, right, the tidbits, but I'll race through as best as I can. Because obviously we've spoken about Trent Cotchin's bravery, okay, to play with the fractured cheekbone, play the entire game out with that, okay, so... But I thought I'd go back
Jolly
through...
Roger while you do this.
It's not a Jolly Roger. Jolly Rancher. Anyway, I thought I'd just go with some other Tiger acts of bravery throughout the club's history that there's been, obviously. Now, the famous one, of course, is Francis Berg, back in May of 71 against Hawthorn at Glenferrie. And he fractured his fibula in the first quarter of the game, and he was sent to rest in the forward pocket, and he played out, not sure he played the whole game out, but he then played a lot of the game. And he walked
on Sunday.
and then he walked off with a fractured leg. So that was a big effort, huge effort.
What a warrior.
He was a mighty warrior. Of course, then there was the famous incident also against North Melbourne, Francis Burke at Arden Street in 82, late in 82, where he got cleaned up, was bleeding like profusely, was sent down forward, took a mark, kicked a goal with blood, because he wouldn't be able to do that these days because he'd been sent off the ground with the blood streaming from his face. But that was another incredible sign of his great courage. Robert Lamb, who was a goal singer and probably wasn't regarded as a tough player because he was an opportunist and that's the role he played and was very, very good at it. But there was a game against Footscray back in June of 78 and he was cleaned up. He backed into the path of Footscray defender Albie Smets, marked the ball, Smets cannon into him, and he was just bloodied and battered, he was. He was on his feet, so really groggy, kicked the ball into the teeth of goal. He wanted to stay on, and several times broke away from the trainers before, obviously, wisdom prevailed. He was led off the field and sent to ambulance and showed that he actually had fractured his jaw.
Wow.
But he was out there for a fair while, wanted to play on, was sending the trainers away and everything. So another great example of Tiger bravery.
Yep. One more?
Yeah, just one more. Well, the other one, of course... was your good self, mate?
No, don't do that.
Don't do you.
Do the Tony Free one.
All right, Tony Free.
Rory Hilton.
Yeah. No. Oh, I don't think he's on the list.
Okay.
Actually.
Do Tony Free.
Tony Free. Okay, well, he ran into a rampaging Dermot Brereton.
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
When Dermot,
I remember
when
this.
Dermot was playing for Sydney. Right, so obviously Freezer was renowned for his courage and putting his body on the line.
Was
and
it
everything.
was it a bit cheap from Derm that day? Or
Well, okay. Well, what happened was he put his body on the line, Freezer, to shepherd at the chief, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Benny Gale, as he kicked downfield. Okay, and Dermy's just run right through him.
which
okay?
Derm could run through.
Yeah.
people, couldn't
I think Swooper, who was coach, got a bit fired up at the time.
He did.
He
Didn't
was ropeable.
He
Swoop.
was, it's fair to
At
say,
the
he was
break, he-
pretty
yep.
ropeable with Dermot and everything. Anyway, Freezer ended up, I think he had a broken jaw out of that.
He did.
And Brereton copped a 7-week suspension from the tribunal. But it just epitomised the bravery, the courage of Tony Free.
I don't think it was his longest suspension at Sydney either.
No, I think he had...
Raiden Tallis.
The Raiden
That's right,
Tallis
that's
incident.
Right. Yeah, he stomped on his head.
I think Derm was getting frustrated by that stage of his career with injuries. And
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Learnt a few new words that day.
so I just remember Swoop was ropeable.
Yeah, they were happy. Could fire up Swoop too.
Yeah. The old Swoop doggy dog. Did you get these ticked off with scones?
No.
Oh, gee.
No. I might not go with those, actually.
Manfred tick him off.
I
Oh,
might
don't
go
let
with
Manfred
those.
tick 'em off.
No. Why?
Oh, gee, I'd be concerned if you let Manfred
Okay.
run his eyes
All right.
over them.
What do you call a magic dog?
Not sure.
A labracadabrador.
Oh, that's terrible. No.
What's a foot long and slippery?
Oh, no.
What? A slipper.
Oh.
A bloke goes into a lawyer's office, right, and asks the lawyer, "Excuse me, how much do you charge?" The lawyer responds, "I charge $1,000 to answer 3 questions." Bloody hell, that's a bit expensive, isn't it? Yes, he replied. What's your 3rd question?
Oh, you happy with that?
What do Alexander the Great, Jack the Ripper, and Winnie the Pooh have in common?
Oh, gee.
Same middle name. And
You've been all right today.
all right.
You've been the dog.
No. I haven't been to the doc. No. I need to go to a psychiatrist, I think, to be honest. Now, I asked my daughter the other day, right, I'm trying to just help with their education, just life education, everything, you know, life skills. And I asked my daughter the other day if she knew what apocalypse means, right? And she said, no, but so what? It's not the end of the world.
Right, Tone.
There you go.
Good stuff, Tone.
All right.
It's the
That's
Hawks this Friday night,
Yes.
and we've won 3 of the last 4 games against Hawthorn.
Yes.
Get up, Tiger.
So get there, Tiger
Go,
fans.
Tigers.
Turn up and watch the mighty Tigers take on the Hawks. Don't forget, you can get involved during the week. Talking Tigers at richmondfc.com.au, and make sure you tune in next week. Our special guest again will be Mike Sheehan, who is going to run us through his entire top 50.
And you can have another rant.
And I'm not happy with him. So I'm going to chat to Mike then. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Take a look at me now.